All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Friday, August 20th, 2021. A week ago, our headlines were all full of what was going on in Afghanistan. 2 days before Afghanistan's government supposedly fell on the Jesuit order's birthday. And this big focus on Afghanistan and the Taliban comes 20 years after 2001, the year we invaded Afghanistan after 9/11. We're so close to the 20-year anniversary of the big day. Of course, on April 14th of this year, Joe Biden announced that we were going to have all of the troops out of Afghanistan by September 11th. They had to do it on the 20-year anniversary. And again, I haven't talked about this for a while, the significance of 20 and the letter T. Again, think about it. A T is a cross, right? A T is a cross. And the cross has been used as a symbol of time by the pagans for longer than Christianity's been around. And with regards to T, the 20th letter, and 20 years later in the Taliban, of course, we'll be talking about the Templars. If you've read my books, I talked about how the invasion of Afghanistan was a Templar ritual. But again, Taliban T, Templar T, 20 T, time T. All of these things start with a T, right? And T is the 20th letter. A lowercase t looks just like a cross. It's equivalent to 20. It's the 20th letter of the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to T is the 20th letter. Now, from 2013, I've taught the same two ciphers, English Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, that I learned out of Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And he shares this cipher, the alphabetic order, and he says what's the most important cipher is the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. And what's interesting about that cipher is when you write out time, it equals 20. Time is 20. If you write out cross, it equals 20. The cross used to symbolize time. The cross represents the 4 seasons to the pagans. The 4 seasons. Seasons, 20, right? And of course, the cross is also associated with death, the death and resurrection of Jesus. Death is also 20. Everyone dies in time. But T, the 20th letter, 20 so associated with time. And now this big ritual 20 years later with the Taliban. So, coming back to Taliban, I'm gonna talk about some things that were in my video that just got censored by YouTube the other day. I finally had a video that got a lot of views, and sure enough, it got a strike and taken down. And it was the video we did on Afghanistan on Sunday, August 15th. But notice Taliban is 59. Remember, the superior general of the Jesuits, Arturo Sosa, from his birthday, November 12th, to the Jesuit birthday, the day that the government fell, that was his 277th day of his age, the 59th prime number. So on the perfect day, on the Jesuit birthday, synced up with their leader, the Taliban supposedly overthrows the government, right? And again, in the official 9/11 story, the Taliban was was created by the CIA. The CIA funded the startup of the Taliban to, essentially wage guerrilla warfare with the Soviet Union. And with regards to the Jesuits and the Templars, again, those are the military orders of the Catholic Church. Now notice Templar, the word Templar that starts with a T is 85. Remember, we invaded Afghanistan October 7th, the day leaving 85 days left in the year. You see? You see how simple Gematria is? Just these words in their most simple form. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. How clear the ritual is. The Templars waged the Crusades in the same area of the world that Afghanistan is, Iraq is, what was once Babylon. And again, it's very easy to understand how all this is when you see who's really running the show in this world. All roads lead to Rome. The English language comes from the Catholic Church. The calendar we're on comes from the Catholic Church. And when you learn this simple code, you see how it's all synced up. October 7th is the day leaving 85 days left in the year. October 7th is 107. Military is 107. The Templars, the ancient military order of the Catholic Church. The current military order of the Catholic Church is the Jesuits, who have the Templar cross in their logo. This is the Jesuit logo if you're not familiar. IHS, which stands for Isus Hominum Salvator. And again, Templar equals 85. Guess what Isus Hominum Salvator equals in the Most Pure Cipher? In the Most Pure Cipher, Isus Hominum Salvator is 85. And we just talked about the big 85 ritual they did with Myanmar and its military overthrowing its puppet government, also in a major Jesuit ritual. Again, Burma's government was established on the day the Jesuits were recognized by Rome, September 27th. The day they were created in history is August 15th, the day Afghanistan's government just fell. So, T, a number of time. Here we're having a major ritual in time. And it's a reminder whose time we're on. We're on the Catholic Church's time. We're on their calendar. We're speaking their language, and we are living out their planned rituals that they execute by this code against us every single day. Now, with regards to time and how we measure time, it's all about the sun, right? And here's the Jesuit logo. It's got the Templar cross, the IHS for Isus Hominum Salvator, the 3 nails for triclavianism, and then you got the sun with the 32 sun rays. Now remember, in the most simple cipher, when you write out God's son, like male offspring, God's son is 93. They tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. When you write out crucifix, a cross, crucifix is 93. When you write out Nazareth, it's 93. Again, look it up. Modern science says they figured out Jesus' date of crucifixion. They say it's April 3rd, which is the 93rd day of the year. And again, in the Bible, Jesus was crucified between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. And the story of Jesus in the Bible begins with Matthew 1, which is the 930th chapter of the Bible, 930. The Son of God, the English word for son, for the object in the sky, the male offspring, the Catholic Church who wanted to bring the pagans under, their control, have them worship under their name. Sunday, Afghanistan's government fell on a Sunday. And with regards to 93, remember, this was the Jesuits' 487th birthday, the day Afghanistan's government fell. 487 is the 93rd prime number. The Jesuits were created August 15th, 1534. They turned 487 years old. Again, numberempire.com, great website for looking up prime number relationships. You can also do it at GematriaEffectNews.com. I do it there, but it does it in a pop-up window, and then you can't see it. But 487 is the 93rd prime. Afghanistan, international dialing code, if I can type it, is plus 93. They are the plus 93 international dialing code. And realize, all of this was done by design with this planned ritual. We are living out a plan, you guys. 9/11, when that happened, that wasn't planned, a few months in advance, few years in advance. It was planned a long time in advance. Before 1968. The plan went into motion in 1968, but who knows exactly when it was planned out. The point is, nearly 50 years before it happened. And that's what people need to understand, that we are living out a planned reality. A plan is being waged against us. And, for years, we've been alerting people to what the plan is, how you can see through it, what to expect. We knew that by the time 2020 came, it would get really bad in this nation if we didn't wake up, organize, and fight back and shut down this federal government and this news media. And again, here we are. But just more evidence of how perfect the plan is and who's responsible. And all of you guys who come and watch the videos and leave the same old tired comments and saying, it's not the Jesuits, you're gatekeeping. I mean, you guys are a joke. It's clearly the Jesuits. The rituals are so perfectly synced with them all throughout history. They're the only people you can trace it to. We're on their calendar. We're speaking their language. No one has greater reach in the world. No one has more establishment. No one has a longer historical track record. It's undeniable it's them. Now, with regards to the guy who stepped down that made this happen, likely a Jesuit puppet, the president of Afghanistan. Notice his name has the same gematria, Society of Jesus, as Washington, D.C., as Paris, France, where the Jesuits are from. But here's the superior general of the Jesuits, Arturo Sosa, again from his birthday to the fall, 277 days, the 59th prime. Taliban overtakes the government. Again, the Taliban was started by the CIA. And remember, the biggest number with the Jesuits is 201. And the CIA was created September 18th, 1947, the 201st day of the Pope's age. If you look up the letters or the words in the CIA logo, again, in the most pure cipher, what's in the CIA logo is Central Intelligence Agency and then United States of America. Again, look it up. That's exactly what's written in the CIA's logo, 201. Remember, the Jesuit order is 201. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder, is 201. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope. Jorge Mario Bergoglio is 201. He's the first pope to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, which is known as the Domus Sancti Marte, which is 201, and the rest of the list. You know, The Office, the hit show in Jesuit Scranton, ran 201 episodes, and then they got the shaggy-haired guy to play the Jack Ryan character in the CIA TV show. And Tom Clancy wrote in his Jack Ryan books that, by the way, Jack Ryan's Jesuit educated. He went to Boston College in the book series. But he makes the quote about how the Jesuits run the world. You know, they're just humble about it. I don't know about humble. And also, I just want to remind that from Arturo Sosa's birthday to the day this happened, it was his 277th day of his age. But look what happens if you don't count the span of days. It's 9 months and 3 days after his birthday, you know? And again, that's a lot like 93. From November 12, 2020 to August 15th, 9 months, 3 days. 487th birthday, 93rd prime. Plus 93 international dialing code. The World Trade Centers led to the invasion of Afghanistan. The World Trade Centers were bombed in 93. Flight 93. Again, blind sheik equals 93, who the 93 World Trade Center bombing was blamed on. So, this also came 27 days before September 11th. We invaded Afghanistan a span of 27 days from September 11th. The ritual number. They're blaming what's happened in Afghanistan on number 46, Joe Biden. Remember, Catholic equals 46, 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. The election of Biden was 46 weeks after Pope Francis's birthday, which is how we called the election for Biden, way before it happened. Biden said he would get us out of Afghanistan by September 11th on April 14th, 14/4. President Biden 144, Jesuit Order 144, Overthrow 144. Remember, the election was simulated June 12th, 2020, 144 days before the election on November 3rd, that Joe Biden would win in a narrow election. Trump would refuse to step down, saying he was cheated. It would lead to deadly violence in the streets of America. And then you had the Capitol insurrection, which was 201 days after the Confederate statue fell in D.C. of Albert Pike. You know what I mean? So, Jesuit order, of course, is 144. You know, that's the big one. 144 days. And then from the day that Biden said that to the day the government fell, 123 days, the conspiracy number. All of this stuff is so carefully planned. And notice, conspiracy, 1, 2, 3, like counting, right? And that's what they're doing. They're counting days. You know, these conspiracies that they really do wage, they're not theories. The conspiracies that they wage against humanity are calculated and counted. You know, start to understand phrases like your number is up. Okay. So if you're new here, we talked about the most simple cipher in the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Since then, we've learned that you have to run the alphabetic order in reverse because it just becomes so apparent that that's the other half of the code. Isus Hominum Salvator, we talked about how it equals 85. Notice how it also equals 266. Again, Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, the first Jesuit Pope, and that's their motto. The 122 is perfect because Pope Francis equals 122. And of course, his name is Francis, like France, where the Jesuits were created on August 15th, 1534. You see how Pope Francis is 59 in the most pure cipher? Biden won the 59th election, which was 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. And we talked about all this stuff a year in advance. The 59-46, why Biden would win the 59th election 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday and become number 46. Again, Catholic, 46, also 35. JFK, number 35, the first Catholic president, killed at age 46. Biden, the second Catholic president, number 46, inaugurated on the 35th day of the Pope's age. And again, the Middle East, Israel created May 14th, 14/5. In the Old Testament, in the Catholic Bible, again, there's 145 more chapters than there is the Protestant Old Testament. And again, 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. And don't forget this year for Israel's 73rd birthday, they bombed Gaza all week. So again, you got to know your ciphers forwards and backwards. 73 books in the Catholic Bible. Theodor Herzl. Remember Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism? His name's 73 in the most pure cipher. He died July 3rd, 73. So this year, Israel turned 73, and they were bombing Gaza all week. You know, we knew it was going to be a big deal when Israel turned 73. We had that circled. What's going to be the big ritual? Ended up being bombing campaign against Gaza by the numbers. Again, this is how these psychopaths operate, killing people ritualistically. And again, I'm getting a lot of comments from long time. I understand that everyone's frustrated right now because it's bad times, and it seems like a lot of people are taking out on me and acting like I'm not doing enough. But you guys, the work has never been more concrete. It's never been more complete. It's never been more clear. And again, we have the message right now at this moment in history to shine a big bright light on what is going on, who's doing it, for what purpose. And again, for all of you guys getting mad at me and saying I need to do more and it's gone flat and, we're not making the progress we need, what more can I do, you guys? I mean, did you guys give up 6 months of your life and go and stand on a corner and, yell at the top of your lungs trying to raise awareness in your community? No, you didn't, did you? You just complained to me. You could have done that and maybe something would have happened. But yeah, running the alphabetic order in reverse. Again, notice the word Christ is 85, right? Christ, the Templars, the Catholic Church. There's a reason behind all this. The Crusades in the name of Christianity, Christ. But is that what Christ ever would have wanted? Christ, I don't know if Christ is a fictional character or somebody who really walked the earth, but either way, based on the teachings and the story, I mean, would he have been waging war against anybody? He was Mr. Turn the Other Cheek, It's interesting because Christ didn't really have any, if he ever got violent, it was against the money changers, the bankers, who are the Templars. So, again, you just look at the whole history of the Catholic Church. I mean, they're the exact opposite of what they claim to be about. They're wolves in sheep's clothing, Templars and Jesuits. And again, look at the Jesuit universities. Look at how many of their schools are the wolves or the wolf pack. It's like, okay. I think they're putting it all on the surface for us. And with regards to putting it all on the surface, I mean, who missed this the other day? They showed this all day, the same clip over and over, the dance party in Afghanistan in front of plane 1109. And how did this all start? With planes and 9/11? Then they got footage from the airport. And remember, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Vatican's 119. Francis 119. You see how Paris, France is 70? You see that? Look at Francis again. 70. Vatican 70. The Jesuits from Paris, France. The whole language synced up to pay tributes to their history. You know what I mean? Just to go back to show how they do this stuff over and over. On May 8th, there was a bombing in Afghanistan, right? On May 8th, a bombing in Afghanistan, a date that can be written 8/5. And then after that happened, what did I do? Then the death toll rises to 85, right? After the May 8th bombing. And again, Templar 85. We invaded Afghanistan on the day leaving 85 days left in the year. They are reporting ritualistic numbers to us in headlines every single day. Every single day. You know? Just right in front of our face. Every single day. Treating us like we're blind, like we have no intelligence, like we have no pattern recognition skills, like we have no common sense, like we don't know a thing about physics, like we don't know a thing about human health, like we don't know a thing about anything. Like all we know is to follow what authority tells us. That's how they treat us. And they get away with it. And that should tell you all you need to know about humanity, that they are trained, programmed, and only to follow authority. And it's a big problem. And that's because we all went to 13 years of slave school, and that's what the main lesson was every day we were there. So just going back over some of the headlines this year. Al-Qaeda promises war on all fronts against America as Biden pulls out of Afghanistan. Now, something that's really interesting that was just caught that I did not know about, this was April 30th, the 120th day of the year. And that emphasized phrase equals 188, like Bavarian Illuminati, like war on all fronts. On the 120th day of the year, Illuminati 120. And remember, the Bavarian Illuminati was created by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, May 1st, 1776. Well, do you know what year Kabul, Afghanistan was established? Somebody just pointed this out to me just the other day. 1776, the same year this nation was established. Look at this. Kabul, established in 1776. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Because now it made me go back and look at this. I was like, no wonder. And that bombing we just talked about with the Templar ritual, that was in Kabul. So, again, this agenda's been building, you guys, for centuries. And they've had a big master plan. You know. So, this headline, U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan has begun. What day did withdrawal begin, you guys? It began on April 29th, which is the 119th day of the year. And then as they're telling you that this was a terrible idea, a huge blunder by senile Joe from Jesuit Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of the office that ran 201 episodes, reminding that his wife and daughter died right after he became senator-elect in a big 201 ritual, reminding that his son Beau Biden died at age 46, 201 days before Pope Francis' birthday. But, then they start showing you this with plane 1109, after the troop withdrawals began on the 119th day of the year, right? Keep in mind, you guys, this video will probably be taken down for hate speech again, just like it did the other night, even though there was zero hate speech in it. So, if you like it, be sure to download it when it's over. Probably won't last long. But, just everything's a joke. April 14th, he says, we'll be out by September 11th. 15 days later, on the 119th day of the year, withdrawals begin. I mean, it's so obvious. It's so obvious, People sit there and criticize, who'd be doing stuff by numbers? It's like, were you not alive on September 11th? Didn't that seem obvious to you? A 911 national emergency? Buildings 1, 2, and 7 fall. They call it the new Pearl Harbor. What day did Pearl Harbor happen? Oh yeah, 127, December 7th. What's ground zero equal? 127. What's that? The 31st prime. 31's the 11th prime. New York's the 11th state. Big buildings that look like 11s on the 11th of the month. Flight AA11, the master number in numerology. Have you guys heard how many days they're saying it took for Afghanistan to fall? 11 days for Afghanistan government to fall. I keep hearing them say it over and over in the news. 11 days. 11 days. Well, I thought if I did a web search, there it is. They have it right here. CIA warned of rapid Afghanistan collapse. Yeah, so heard him saying all day today, 11 days. No intel that Afghan government would fall in 11 days. I mean, this whole thing is just such a joke. It's just such a joke. Cuomo is 11 accusers. You know, the day before the sexual assault thing that was the final nail in the coffin, we did it the day before. We said, watch for tomorrow on 8/6 for some sexual assault stuff with Cuomo. Boom, next day, sexual assault 86, groping 86. I mean, all of this stuff, you guys, is so easy to see through. It's so predictable. It's so transparent. You know. Told you before the year began to be a big year of Jesuit military war rituals from Burma to Afghanistan so far. Where's next? It's not a party until they get the third one. Who's going to be number 3? Is that going to be on September 27th? By the way, Rudy Giuliani, when 9/11 happened, it was his 107th day of his age. He was the 107th mayor of New York. Remember, military's 107, and then we invaded on October 7th, 107. And what's Rudy Giuliani? Italian, like a mobster, like a Jesuit, like a Catholic. Anthony Fauci, Jesuit scumbag. What's he? You know? They got all their rituals so perfectly planned out. So, like I was just going through the headlines I have on Afghanistan on the time that I've had this website. You just look at all these. It all points back in the same direction, every last one. Jesuits, Templars, Illuminati, it's all the same thing. Templars came before the Jesuits carry on the Templar tradition, the Bavarian Illuminati created by the Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt. In the same year that this nation was created in Kabul, Afghanistan. Go figure. Go figure. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys are getting this out on YouTube. This might just be geographic region, but if you're in Washington State, I just couldn't believe what I saw today. I was watching Jay with Open Eyes video. Shout out to Young Jay and Neo the Hacker. But it was after the Jay with Open Eyes video. From his video, it took me to NBC News with Lester Holt, right? But before it did that, it went to a commercial. Did you guys get the same thing, too? You watch like a truth video, and then when it ends, it takes you to Lester Holt with NBC. I hate Lester Holt, man. I hate all these news anchors. Just the way they just regurgitate and just read off the bullshit from the teleprompter with this... Tonight, flu cases down 95%, but COVID cases way up. Yeah, okay. But anyway, I could not believe this advertisement because it said this advertisement is brought to you by the Jesuits of Washington State. I was like, holy fuck, man. Did they make this ad just so I would see it? But here was my favorite part. If you see this ad, if you see it... I just took a few screenshots here, but, you know, they got all sorts of different Jesuits that get on there. But this was my favorite part right here, this right here, and I just barely caught it. Can you guys see the year that is on this thing for their little, you know, this ad is about go out and get your vaccine. The Jesuits told you to do it. But look at it, class of 1979. Can you see that in the corner? Class of 1979. Need I remind you the significance of 79? Jesuit scumbag Anthony Fauci, the pandemic declared March 11th, 2020, his 79th day of being 79 years old. His birthday is Christmas Eve. Society of Jesus equals 79. Again, that's how you know that you got to run the alphabetic order both ways. Just so many rituals that they do. Anthony Fauci equals 56 in the same cipher as Society of Jesus. That same cipher, coronavirus is 56, COVID vaccine 56, and a million other things that have to do with COVID. The 56 and 187 correspond with Anthony Fauci. 56, 187. Watch all 4 ciphers. Watch when I write Washington, D.C. Not a single number will change. It's the exact same in all 4. Washington, D.C., same in all 4, but 56, 187. Paris, France, where the Jesuits are from, 56, 187. But, again, the pandemic was declared on the 79th day of Anthony Fauci being 79 years old. Society of Jesus, 79. Again, event 201, the big Jesuit number, was the coronavirus pandemic simulation 1 month before the outbreak in Wuhan, China, put on the same day the Military World Games began in Wuhan, China. And the Military World Games were created by the Jesuit order in Rome, where they began in 95, like the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses. and recognized by Rome on the day, leaving 95 days left in the year. Yeah, I gotta tell you just real quick. Last night, sweet lady, she watched a video about, what's going on with the pandemic. This guy, saying all the things that are wrong. She's like, you gotta watch this guy's video. Let's watch this tonight. It's so good. So, like 20 minutes in, I was just being quiet. But after 20 minutes in, I looked at sweet lady and I said, this guy, I'm pretty sure he watches my channel because I haven't heard him say one thing yet that I haven't talked about this year. And there was a part where he just got talked about Event 201, and the way he phrased what he said about Event 201, it was like the exact way I talk about it. And I was like, do you realize you're having me watch a video about something I'm just, sweet lady, isn't it weird how when people know each other, like they don't take them as seriously, like they look at them a certain way, like sweet lady, she doesn't look at me as truth seeker. She looks at me as, her significant other and, her caretaker and, her partner and all this, but she does not like really invest much time. And I know she doesn't really care when I talk about the work that much, but it was just so weird. She wanted me to watch a video last night. And then what bothered me about the guy is after he was talking about all the stuff that I talk about, but not in as good a detail and obviously not with any gematria. But like he could have went into way greater detail about how Event 201 was on the day of the Military World Games. He skipped all that, but then he started gloating about how great his knowledge is and how his book's a mind blower, and that's why Amazon had just bought 100,000 copies from him. And I was like, wait a minute. So this guy has a book that sounds like it's a clone of mine. I guess his book, the video was from April of this year, and literally everything he said in the first 20 minutes of the video was like regurgitated from me. And I was like, wow, is that true? And Amazon bought 100,000 copies from him? God. Probably somebody in the club, but it reminds me, do you guys remember when last year in April, when I went to Washington State for the protest, Blaze TV was there, what's his face's thing, the guy that was on Fox News for a while, that conservative guy, I can't even think of his name. He has a big following. He's a big name. I can't think of his name. He's one of the biggest names in the conservative movement, but he runs that Blaze TV. And Blaze TV interviewed me there, but they didn't show my interview. They shared other people's interviews who were there, even people that I talked to. I was like, wow, they shared all sorts of people, but they didn't share what I had to say. But then the very next day, Glenn Beck, that's his name. Glenn Beck. But then the very next day, Glenn Beck does a big presentation on Event 201, politicizing it, blaming it on liberals. And I was like, look at this trash, man. Look at this trash presentation of Event 201. But that's what I told him about, all the stuff with Event 201 and Donald Trump. And see, they couldn't cover what I had to share because, what I shared exposed Donald Trump. They're trying to make it seem like it's the liberals' fault. But remember, never forget this one either. This is Chapter 3. Of Number Games. This is from Chapter 3 of Number Games right here. The day that coronavirus was confirmed in the United States of America, that's the same day that Donald Trump was in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, who was the main sponsor of Event 201. The World Economic Forum ran by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab, like Donald Trump's the Jesuit who went to Fordham. But World Economic Forum is 222. And Donald Trump was at the World Economic Forum on his 222nd day of his age, the day Wuhan coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S. And remember, Wuhan coronavirus is 222. And remember, from September 11th to the coronavirus pandemic being declared, that was exactly 222 months later, plus all the rest of that riddle. But again, it's just, yeah, it makes me sick to think that maybe that is really something that happened in the world. There's some guy out there that bites my work, and I already forget what the guy's name is. He must have a pretty big following if Amazon's going to buy 100,000 books from him. But literally, just listening to him, I was like, okay, sweet. Why does sweet lady want me to watch this? Doesn't she know that this is everything that I've been teaching about this whole time? And the fact that he gets his book out in April, man, I had my book out like a year before him with all this in it. But Amazon buys 100,000 copies from him. I mean, if that happened for me, we'd have a ton of resources. It just makes me sick, man. It all makes me sick. So, and yeah. Anyway, man, I don't know why there's not a million people that don't watch every last one of these videos and share it with their friends and family and wake them up. I mean, telling you, if more of you had more courage and shared more and were more convincing in your arguments and spoke with more confidence, you'd have more of an impact, and that's what needs to happen. All of you guys getting shitty with me because you don't think I'm doing enough, you know, I don't know what more you could ask for from a person. I've been here for 8 years straight, getting old in front of this camera, pumping out nothing but truth, knowledge, and facts, and calling everything before it happened. So, I know it's late in the game, but don't blame me. All right, True Seeker, we're going to leave it there. It is Friday night, and I told Sweet Lady I'd keep it short. And you know what, though? I just got to let a few voices get in here before I sign off. Thank you to the person who got the book. Somebody just ordered a book. That's cool. Somebody's ordered an ebook. If you'd rather have the books in ebook form, you can download them for free off my Patreon page, or if you want to, purchase it for $5, you can purchase it for $5. You could buy one for $5, download the other one for free on the Patreon page, but it's at my website, GematriaEffect.News, under the ebooks tab. Number Games is the more recent book. Letters and Numbers is the first book. They're really both worth reading, but let's take a few calls before I sign off here for the night. 15 minutes. If you call in, keep it short and sweet so we can get a few voices in here. But if I missed anything, let me know. What's up, 717?
Hey, Zach. I know it's probably a little off topic and you hate that, but I just want to touch point. I'm going through the whole anti-mask, anti-vax thing right now, and I'm part of a union, and they won't even back us on this. People need to make a stand and get against this. People need to see the truth and wake up.
They do, man.
That's all I want to say.
I'm sorry you're going for that, and it just shows you, man, at the end of the day, these unions are all bought and paid for, too. They're probably all part of the same network, and, I mean, there's just, it's something else, but, yeah, don't give in, man. Keep up the fight.
No, I'm fighting, and I'm fighting for the rights of the people in the union, and I'm getting demonized for it, but do you know what? You got to do what's right, and I appreciate all the work you do, man. I really do. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, brother. You have a good night. Thanks, man.
Have a good night.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.
Yeah, more and more people getting pushed into a corner. Vaccine or else. Vaccine or Coventry. Remember the first vaccines in Coventry. It means social isolation. What's up, young Ben?
Hey, not much. How are you? Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you for your presentation on Afghanistan. It's nice to hear some sane stance on the whole thing when all I hear about every day is how much of an imbecile Biden is and all this.
That's how the news media coverage is right now, right? If you turn on Fox News, it's all about what a dummy Biden is, and this is one of the greatest blunders in American history. And then if you turn on CNN, it's all about, those horrible Taliban. They have all their people in fear, and they're treating the women horribly. It's just like, okay, God.
Yeah, and then you look at, and then meanwhile, Hannity was talking about that the other night. Meanwhile, he's playing that 1109 plane clip with the dance party in front of it, like over and over again, like as he's talking about it. I'm like, this is just the ultimate mockery. Like, how long? Like, Hannity is like this guy. How long has this guy just been bullshitting the masses, like every day for God knows how many years? I can't stand any of them. But just looking at, I just don't understand how these people live with themselves if they're even human. I know some people don't think they might not even be human, which might also be true, but.
Well, they like what they get. I'm sure Sean Hannity, because of his position, there's a lot of perks, good salary. I'm sure he gets the ladies because he's Sean Hannity on Fox News. I'm sure that's what he does it for, just all the wrong reasons. I mean, that's not that's it. It's greed, it's selfishness, man, and I mean it plagues most people in this world. It's why we are where we are. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So just a quick note on my situation. So YouTube deleted my channel because I made like a half-hour long rant video last night in the middle of the night when I had left my late night shift at work, and I was the only one in the parking lot, and I made the video and I uploaded it, and YouTube took it down within an hour because I just attacked everything. I went to a school board meeting for the local school district here where I graduated from high school 3 years ago, and my brother's going into his senior year, and there was a big mask debate, and I went up there and I listed all the clinical studies of how masks are bullshit from things like the British Medical Journal, New England Journal of Medicine, articles from Medium.com, which is like within the right-wing, left-wing paradigm. It's on the left side. And the left side is supposed to be the one that is more in favor of masks. But Medium wrote an article about how there might be formaldehyde in the masks and graphene, and then there were masks recalled in Canada for graphene in them. So I was listing all this shit. I was telling him all this, and I talked about the mask mouth, how dentists are seeing an uptick in gum disease, which the New York Post even talked about last year. And I said all this, and I concluded with, they only gave me 3 minutes to talk, but I concluded with, CDC conflicts of interest. And I find out 2 days later that, and then like right after I went, some girl who's also going into her senior year, like my brother, said that they were finding she had to wear like the surgical masks at work, and one of her coworkers went to the doctor's office sometime after all that was happening, and they found fibers from the mask on her lungs, and then the girl herself was finding fibers like all over the place, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, God, like this is absolutely criminal, like all of it. I mean, it's criminal enough.
That's what it is. That's what this nation is run by criminals. It has been the whole time. I mean, that's why they lie and wage war in the middle a lot. We've submitted to criminals. That's what the problem is. We learn all this stuff in slave school that's not true about our reality, but we just march along anyway. We're not free. We're taxed without representation. I mean, it was just. That's why the thing that really everybody needs to do is stand up and fight back. I mean, the only solution is revolution. And it has to happen. It's revolution or bust. I mean, you've heard me say it a million times, but that's what it's got to be. I am so ready to just go. If we could take over the news network, we could have an impact. It's like we got to bum rush CNN and all these other major news stories like I've been saying, man. It's got to happen. So.
It does have to happen. But anyway, I mean, like, despite my studies, well, not my studies, but the studies I listed in her story and a couple other good speakers, of course, mixed in with a bunch of parents, people who are like, we need to listen to the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics, and masks protect the wearer and the people around. Like, are these people freaking insane? I think even the mainstream media gave up on trying to convince people that masks protect them, because it literally said it on the fucking packaging.
Right.
It said it on the packaging. And that was based on all sorts of studies of surgeons, who wore masks, and, it was observed that there was really no difference between the amount of wound infections, whether surgeons wore masks or not on the operating room. So it's like, it was all out there. It's been all out there for years, and people still believe it. It's like, God, I was in Myrtle Beach last week, and, the waitress at one of these restaurants was wearing a mask when they didn't have to, and she said, I can't give COVID to someone. I can't get it. And I'm just thinking to myself, God, you really think that piece of cloth that was probably made in China with your restaurant design on it is doing anything? I honestly can't believe how stupid people are. And then the show was like some pirate show. And don't get me wrong, it was like gymnastics related. People were flexible about it and all that. But like most of them were like doing like the handstands and the flips and the twirls with masks. And I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen? Fly through the air and just even if that was how this works, if it flew through the air and landed on the mask, what, you don't think you're gonna breathe it in? I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I really just can't believe how stupid people are. And now I'm in a situation where I have classes starting on Monday, and they reinstated the mask mandate for both vaxxed and unvaxxed people, and I'm like, I sent a letter to the school saying, can you guarantee my health by wearing all these things? And I looked at all the studies saying how they're bullshit and how they're harmful and all this, and they didn't get back to me, and I gave them a nasty follow-up today. I don't expect them to get back, but I'm like, am I going to cause a scene on the first day of school here? And you know.
Ben, just know, if everybody was doing what you're doing, this whole thing would just end because people would not be in compliance and they'd be given too much resistance. I mean, it's just the thing is, for every one of you, there's 999 people that aren't like you, so probably even more than that. But good job, man.
But anyway, yeah, I'll let the next caller get in. But yeah, I just want to give you an update. You know, just trying to stay positive, but it's really hard when I just see bullshit at every turn. So,
indeed. Well,
yeah,
keep doing it, man. You're doing it, Ben. Just the world needs you.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good one.
All right. Have a good night, man. See you.
Bye.
This whole stage scene in Afghanistan reminds me of this right here. Remember when our news media was this all day? How the Iraqi people gathered to tear down the statue of Saddam, and then it turned out that, you know, there was a zoomed out photo, and you saw that the U.S. media was there all day, and what a stage scene it was. I mean, this all TV is, just one stage scene after the next. What's up, 405?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah?
Hey, man, I just want to say, man, you're doing a good job, man. I really ain't got much. I want to say I appreciate your work, man. You're a real good guy, man. Keep up the good work, bud.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Man.
All right, take care.
You too.
Not everybody feels that way, but it's okay. Everybody has their own opinion. Let's see. 352, most active caller tonight. You made it through. What's up?
Zach, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic, man. I was just noticing on that plane. You know how it says AW twice as well. AW is 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. It's got a 62 there. Mason 62.
It's like, hey, and it seems to me like they use 1, 2, 3 a lot when it's like, hello, you idiots. Look at what's right here. Like 1, 2. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, but you're too dumb to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they do that shit on purpose too.
They probably do.
Part of the mockery.
They probably do.
Yeah, man. But I was just working on a video for Kurt Cobain's death, and man, I know we're not talking about that tonight, but dude, it is like the most insane, perfect ritual ever. It was 81 days before Dave Grohl's birthday.
I've covered all this, man. I got it in my book. Yeah, I know all about his death.
I just started watching it last year. Yeah, I just started watching it last year.
It's in letters and numbers.
Anyways,
there's so much. It's synced up with so many people. Courtney Love. Yeah. Hey, I just got to point out something else about that plane real quick, though, since you brought up the numbers. If you look at it, there's the 62 there, and then there's a 446, but you got the 62 and really 46 is right there, and Afghanistan is 62 and 46. I mean.
Yeah. Yep. And 62 is so many things now. Now, when I bet horses, I use 62 as first place for blue ribbon because blue ribbon equals double 62s. No, but other things, it's a Jesus number too, right? 62.
Is it?
I believe it's somewhere in there. Yeah, I've done a lot on the Abrahamic. Maybe it's not Jesus.
It's Torah. Torah is 62. The Abrahamic religions tie in. Torah is 62. Elohim is 62.
Yeah, well, right. And of course, it's the reverse of 26. But hey, this lambda variant they're coming up with, the next one, you know, it's kind of hilarious because you know what a lambda is. Actually, it's the first book of the New Testament. It is a Matthew. What is a Matthew? Oh, it's a lamb. Well, what is a math lamb? It's a lambda because the New Testament was written in Greek, Koine Greek. So a Matthew. It's just so funny. He was a tax collector.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but if you know, of course, the lambda represents L, and even back in the old, further back in some ancient religions or ancient languages, they even used it was EL was the name, was the letter, the character, but it was for a lambda. It was the upside down triangle or the right side up triangle. But yeah, it was a L, like the Canaanite god El or Saturn, EL. And now, so that means, now if you can take it from that to knowing that a lambda represents L, it's really just saying it's the math god, the same one that from the Old Testament, L.
Interesting. Yeah, those are good observations. That's very interesting. So.
Yeah, man, I know that those aren't concrete or nothing. I just wanted to throw that out there. Just some weird stuff that I happened to notice today because they're pushing this delta lambda. They're obviously going through the Greek, alphabet. So
and if you look at that building collapse, they had that giant crane in front of it that says Alpha the whole time, and that crane was sitting there at that 47-degree angle all the time. And also, that a lambda is the Masonic compass. That forms a lambda.
Very, very good observations. Well, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Get back sweet. Get over here, talk sweet lady. Have a good night, man.
All right. Yeah, you take care. Have a good night. All right, 909, you're going to be the last call tonight. What's on your mind?
All right. What's up, brother? Hey, I wanted to start off definitely saying, thanks. Appreciate your work, everything. You've been putting in hard work for a lot of years, and all the people out there throwing shade your way is just unnecessary, and they need to mature. They need to mature up, and like Bryson, we all feel Bryson what he's saying, but I think it was awesome, amazing, and very mature for you to step up and be like, hey, look, giving up is not the answer. Giving up is not the way to go, because that's exactly what they want us to do.
Right. Yeah. There's some people that thought my video in response to what he said was too harsh on him, and I didn't feel that way at all. I just, and I didn't make the video so much even because of what Bryson said. It was more about how many people left a comment that was the highlight of the show, and I thought, really, that was the highlight of the show? I mean, there's a lot of great calls, a lot of good information. Rambo had a brilliant decode. The highlight of the show was let's quit on the knowledge. I mean, if that's your reality, you don't belong here, and you're a loser. And I'm not saying that Bryson's a loser, but he's right that we need to take care of ourselves, and we're deep in the game, and things don't look good. But that doesn't mean we quit on the knowledge. No. So.
Right. And one thing you said that was perfect was life. There's balance in life. Like, yeah, we need to prepare ourselves, but we also need to help other people. We need to open other people's eyes. There's a balance. You don't just quit.
Right.
And just only focus on yourself.
Right.
People obviously outnumber us, or maybe not outnumber us, but they're gonna outgun us because they're gonna have all the military force. They're gonna have all the high power weapons against us. So if you think going to get a piece of land and hiding yourself in a mountain somewhere is really gonna save you, then I'm sorry, but
that's not.
Your days are.
That's not. And imagine that. Just take a minute to think about that. Your life is hiding out in the woods, surviving. You think that's going to be a life worth living? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then on my next thing I wanted to touch on is it's very tough, and I got a daughter, so what's really been tough is not everything works for everybody, and not every single thing works for every single situation, even with one person. And so all these people out there who are saying, do this or do this or do that, do this or do that, like for all this stuff, it's like, no, it's, hey, this didn't work this time, let's try something else. Let's try something else. But instead of putting it on you, take that into your own lives. It's been hard for me to open other people's eyes, even my friends and my family, and it's tough, but I don't give up. I just try to find a new way. Okay, I could show them this video of the U.S. Air Force, this blow up decoy fucking flying plane, and they won't believe it. But then, okay, you don't believe that, well, let me show you something else, or let me find another way. If there's finding alternate ways to open people's eyes. So it's not easy, but it's work. And guess what? Work is what we need to be doing. If you think it's easy, then no. Easy is giving up and going and hiding in the mountain.
Truly.
And so what do you guys? You want to be a leader? You want to be a leader? That to me, that's the mentality of a leader. If you want to be a follower, then just jump in line. Jump in line with everybody else. And but instead of blaming everybody else, instead of blaming you, instead of playing Zach here, blame yourself. If you're coming on here and you're watching his videos telling him to do more, then you need to be hard on people. I back up whoever called you and told you to be hard on people. Be hard on people. There ain't no participation trophies in life. There's no participation trophies. So people need to get over that and do something. Hit the pavement. You've been hitting pavement, man. Big ups to you. It's been awesome. It's been awesome watching you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your call and message. And it's just a reminder, man. It's just funny how when you communicate with, or when so many different people listen to you, you get so many different opinions each day. It's just But I appreciate everything you had to say. It's a lot different than the phone call I got just about an hour ago. So, the phone call I got an hour ago was somebody who said, Zach, you're 38 and you went hard on a 15-year-old and it was ridiculous and it made you look bad and a lot of us are losing respect for you. I was just like, okay. And keep in mind, this is coming from a guy who always calls me drunk from strip clubs. But I said, dude, I didn't go hard on him. And I'm pointing out that, quitting and that is not the right attitude at all. So, anyway.
And it's not, you were like multiple times you said, I'm not going in on him like that. I'm going in on for this other reason. And if people want to focus on that one thing that you did and they want to lose respect for you over that, which isn't even what you did, then fuck it. Like you're more mature, respectful, and more of a dope ass individual because you're standing up for what you believe in. When once again they're bound down to one little thing. Like respect that. They need to have respect for other people, and especially you, that are out here like taking a car through their door, not being censored, not being able to sell Amazon 100,000 books when someone basically took your work and wrote their own book about it, and now they're posting it, but now they're selling it, and when they sell it, people are going to read that and think, oh, this is all conspiracy theory because there's nothing to back it up. So they're using that against us. Like, how come nobody sees that? Like, that's blatant obvious. They're using that against us.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for answering my call. Appreciate you. You're doing an awesome job, brother.
Thanks, man. You have a good night. Take care.
You too.
All right, I got to get off and spend time with Sweet Lady because she got to get up early. And yeah, you guys, I mean, it's true that the only solution, I'm telling you guys, the only solution is revolution or bust. And I mean, if you want to be part of the solution, you better get your mind ready for some type of revolution because that's what we're going to have to do. As people get pushed further and further in the corner, it's going to become more and more necessary. And I'm telling you, the way that it could be successful in this world is if you did it, if you organized people in multiple states and took over news stations. I've been saying it for years. If we could take over if we could take over the news and broadcast what I put out tonight, if we could figure out a way to do that, a lot of people would get it. And just put out a message. You guys, we're not paying taxes anymore. Down with these school systems. Down with the taxes. This is what's fucking us up. People are so beholden to the things that are fucking them up. The news is fucking them up. Government is fucking them up. School is fucking them up. And people just march along and take it more and more, getting more and more debt for all this bullshit. Why are we having people go out and pay for college after they were already in school for 13 years, having their life wasted? They couldn't have, by the time they were 18, they couldn't have had enough knowledge and information to go out and be productive in the world? They could. This whole system is meant to waste our time, make us stupid, enslave us, make us tax slaves. I mean, it's all got to go down. It's got to burn, man. It's got to burn. So, anyway, we'll leave it there, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night.